Dude, what the hell?
I don't know.
No, seriously, what the hell?
I don't know.
One theory, any theory.
The trickster trapped us in TV land.
That's your theory. That's stupid.
You're the one who said we're on Dr. Sexy MD.
Yeah, but TV land isn't TV land. I mean, there's actors and lights and crew members, you know? This looks real.
It can't be. Dean, how can this possibly be real?
I don't know, right?
Welcome to Gimmicks, a podcast about the high-concept, experimental, structure-breaking gimmick episodes of TV, from musicals to noirs to a trip through the land of television. I'm Derek B. Gale, and who's with me today?
Hi, it's me, Merrilee. I'm back again.
Now, hey, Merrilee, this is not like a clever question. This is the most obvious thing related to this episode. But if you had to pick one of the TV shows in this episode to live in for a day, which one would you choose?
It has to be something already on this particular episode.
From this particular episode.
Okay, yeah. Well, on the one hand, the sitcom seems kind of fun. It's like just...
Yeah.
It seems like everybody involved would be having a great time. On the other hand, I do think if I had to exist in a world with a laugh track, I would absolutely lose my mind after longer than 5 minutes.
Sure. Sure.
So probably I'm going to go with the hospital, even though, probably I'll die. But, it's better than a laugh track.
Yeah. Well, in the hospital, you could be a doctor in the hospital or a worker or something, and you would just, have romantic tension with someone. I don't know. Like,
no, I'm asexual. I will be murdered immediately for tension. Yeah, I'll be the doctor and the funny side character who dies in like 2 or 3 episodes before the end of this season, so to make things like feel like they're going real and there are stakes now, and the doctors are dying in the hospital. What's happening?
You could come back as a ghost, though, potentially, because that is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a thing, but that's only for romantic leads. Again, I just die.
That's true.
I just die, and then you see me pop up in a different television show, and you're like, oh, hey, it's that one actor. I really liked her on Dr. Sexy MD. Wonder where she's been for 5 years. And the answer is that I've been lost in the TV hellscape.
Man, sucks that they killed off that character, but
what are you gonna do?
The traumatic twists.
Yeah.
See, that's why I would pick Knight Rider, because I think that would be hella fun.
Oh yeah, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. It seemed like it was just Sam and Dean in the car, like just the two of them, and there was no one else in that setting. It seems peaceful.
That's true. Yeah, so we're talking about Supernatural, specifically Season 5, Episode 8, entitled Changing Channels. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Supernatural, Supernatural was you guessed it, supernatural horror fantasy drama.
Sorry, that got me.
Yes, I love it. It ran for a whopping 15 seasons. That still blows my mind.
Yeah. Oh God, they just kept making them, huh?
They just kept making them against everyone's better judgment. No, people love the entire run of that show. I'm not going to knock it. We will talk about that show.
Okay.
We will talk. There will be plenty to talk about that aspect of it. It ran from 2005 to 2020, originally premiered on the very last year of the WB, right before it turned into the CW, and then was on the CW for the rest of its run. It was the first show created by Eric Kripke, who show ran the first 5 seasons and then went on to create and develop shows like Revolution, Timeless, and most recently, The Boys. The show itself follows Sam and Dean Winchester, played by Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, respectively, who are 2 brothers traveling across America, hunting monsters, and monsters that basically come from urban legend mostly, though eventually they become entangled in this apocalyptic war between heaven and hell and angels and demons, and God gets involved, and it gets bananas. But despite constantly being on the bubble of cancellation in the first few years, it did amass a pretty strong cult following, especially in its later years, and especially with its very notorious Tumblr fandom, which I'm sure will come up in conversation as well, and somehow became America's longest running fantasy series of all time, which again still blows my mind, remembering how constantly on the edge of cancellation it was for those first few years. But
yeah. Well,
here we are. Well,
after season 4, some things changed, and it was never really in danger after that.
Yeah. Well, Merrilee, what is your personal history with Supernatural? I'm actually I don't remember when you got into it or how far into it you've watched. So I'm very curious, like, what your progression of everything was with it.
Well, so when I was younger, a million years ago, back when Supernatural first went out on the air, I used to go to New York a lot because that's where my grandmother lives. And when we would go up, I kept seeing these advertisements for the show called Supernatural, and it looked cool. Like, I would be on the train, and because she lives in Chappaqua, New York, which is a very short train ride away from the city. And so we would always go into the city at least once. And so they would have pretty much on every station between Chappaqua and New York City banners for this show called Supernatural. So I saw those and thought, I like Supernatural shows. What's that? And so for at least a year, might be 2 years, I remember, and then in the back of my head, I kept thinking, I gotta watch Supernatural one day. And then the very first episode of Supernatural I watched, I know this very specifically because I was changing channels. I was just channel flipping, and I saw
changing channels. That's the name of the episode.
Yeah, roll credits. And they had an advertisement for a new episode it looked so good, and I was so interested. It was like, it's Supernatural. It's that show that I've been wanting to watch. It's here. This is the channel. They're airing a new episode tonight, and it looks like there's a serial killer ghost. And it was season 2 or 3. I don't remember. It was the one with Joe and the ghost of H.H. Holmes.
Sure.
Yeah. And as a true crime girly who's I've always been like this. I had know all about H.H. Holmes, and when I was like, oh my gosh, H.H. Holmes is a serial killer ghost who continued on killing in the castle. What a great concept. I should go back and watch the rest of the show so I understand what actually happened in this very cool episode of television that I watched. And the rest is sort of history. I fell off in season 7 or 8 and never really got back on the train. I had friends who still watched up until season 11 or 12, and then I mostly didn't hear about it until the finale came on.
Yeah.
I have the very unfortunate poor taste in that when I pick a favorite, they're my favorite forever, no matter what happens later. And I latched hard onto Sam, which is, of course, the categorically incorrect choice. So he was always my favorite character, and I didn't really ever participate in the fandom because of that, because there was so much stuff happening for Destiel all the time. And I was like, listen, I understand this is a good ship, but what about my boy Sam over here? So again, not really a big participator in the fandom. But I always appreciated what they were doing. And now in hindsight, I understand that y'all were right. Y'all were all right. But I still have a very special place in my heart for Sassy, which was Cass and Sam. Listen,
interesting.
If you really think about it, the dynamics are delicious. Because here's this guy who, as a very key part of his character, was the fact that he was religious when he was younger. He believed, even though no one in his family did. And then also he has all of these ties to hell and demons and all of this stuff going on. And he's also basically an apocalypse maiden and all of this stuff. And then you have this angel who saved the most important person in his life and then hates him because it's part of something that he has fundamentally no control over. Anyway, I'm just saying there should be a Sassy renaissance, or at least there would be if Sam wasn't obviously the worst choice.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, Dean was always my favorite when watching it, but I like both. Like, they're both good characters. When you have a show that primarily follows like just two characters, obviously there's like many others on there too.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like, at the core, it is two characters is like that are from beginning to end, always there. Like, they're both going to have good and bad things, right? So like, they're both, well fleshed out characters and everything. So like, that's all valid. Like, yeah, absolutely.
But I think that we can all agree that of the two brothers, Dean actually gets more interesting and he has more depth.
Sure.
And also he isn't played by Jared Padalecki. These are all good things.
Oh boy. Hey. Yep. Yep.
The thing is about this particular season is that season 5 is my favorite by
it's good.
Quite
it's a very
a
good
long
season.
shot. Not only is it a very, very good season and also the end of a very, very good arc and kind of like the natural conclusion in a lot of ways to the show, which I'm sure we can talk about later. The thing is about this season is that actually this is the season where I was at college and like you were there and everybody was there and we all watched Supernatural together, and I just really have all of these very fond memories of us sitting together at like the cafeteria table talking about the new episodes that are coming out and like what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love it so much. And as I was watching the episode in preparation for this, I felt the magic again in a way that I haven't when I thought about Supernatural in years and years and years and years. It's still so good. Like when it's good, Derek.
Yeah, I kind of had the same experience. I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Yeah. No, I almost did. Like I watched the episode and I felt that love and I was like, what if I just did a rewatch? But that was of course the devil talking and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I was beguiled again. I was wild again. I felt it. That was a good show, and it was very important and special to a lot of people for a very long time. And I think that matters in a really important way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's yes. I very much agree with what a lot of what you said. I have a really complicated relationship with it. I think because of all those dynamics, because I always kind of have to actively fight the cranky old man in myself who was there from day one before it became like a Tumblr sensation, and then did kind of feel the shift in what the show was once it did become that and sort of started engaging with that. And it's so weird because like, okay, so yeah, I was there. I watched it from the very first day.
Did you really? Did you watch the premiere live? Yes and no. It's so basically, I didn't even talk about this on the Smallville episode that I did of gimmicks because there was a lot of other like dense background, but like with the early 2000s, I have a very special spot for the WB as a channel because I didn't get the network itself where I lived, but the NBC station that we had would like somehow had a partnership with like WB as an affiliate, so they could still show WB shows like on their local programming time. But for whatever reason, instead of doing it like on like the afternoon or weekends or something, they would choose to do it like in the middle of the night. So there would be a whole run of WB shows that they would put on like right after Saturday Night Live was over. So I would stay up late, watch Saturday Night Live, and then after that's over, then Smallville would come on at 1 a.m. And then once Supernatural premiered, that premiered at 2 a.m. And so I would stay up and watch Smallville anyway, or if I didn't stay up, I'd like tape it and watch the next day. But I think for the premiere of Supernatural, I was awake for it. So it wasn't live for the rest of the world. It was a few days after the rest of the world saw it live. But for me, when it premiered in my area, I did watch it at 2:00 in the morning in the middle of the night on Saturday night / Sunday morning, which I think kind of ended up like lending to an even like better vibe for this show. Because I think watching, because especially, the first season of Supernatural, it's fun, but it's definitely got its mix of like
okay episodes and clunkers and like a couple of standouts. You know, it really is more, I think, like the show kind of figuring itself out. And I think it did a lot more horror earlier in the first season, and then it kind of goes in wilder directions after the first season. But I think so just watching this weird little like kind of mid-budget horror show that's just doing, you know, it's not based on any pre-existing material. It's just playing around and engaging with urban legends, and watching that in the middle of the night, like alone in my living room in the dark as a teenager. Like that's perfect. I think that's like the perfect vibe to watch like the first season of Supernatural, especially if you have no idea what you're in for, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that for you so very deeply.
These types of things, they aren't supposed to be real.
You ever heard of something like this before? Never seen. Whatever it is out there, no one's living to talk about it. It's out of my hands for now.
Supernatural series premiere tomorrow at 9/8 Central on the WB Tuesday.
We got work to do.
Supernatural, the WB Tuesdays this fall. In the coming weeks on Supernatural, they pursue the unexplainable,
People don't just disappear. You don't think I want to find out as much as you do?
the indestructible,
It's smart.
the unthinkable. The new series, Supernatural, next week on the WB Tuesday.
So I formed like a really special connection with it as this really neat kind of horror show. And, you know, it's a thing where it's like, it's struck this really interesting balance of like, in a lot of ways, it does look like the shows you were seeing on the WB at the time that are like aimed towards like young adults and teenagers. And it's like filmed in Vancouver. It's got a lot of similar actors as a lot of your other teen dramas and stuff and genre shows that it was doing. But like it had a little bit more of an edge to it. And it was obviously like made by people who like knew that they were going to be garnering a similar audience, but also like didn't exactly want to like engage for that exactly. So it's sort of like, you know, we're not going to mess with a lot of like the soap opera like relationship stuff necessarily, romantic stuff. We are going to focus a lot more on just like a familial relationship and wacky like horror lore and stuff. And I do think that that was a really kind of fascinating like combination of things to see in a show, you know, at that time. And so I think that made it really attractive. And once it did start airing on the CW, and so I was watching it, you know, at a normal time, not in the middle of the night, I still stuck with it. And like, that's when I would recommend it to my friends. So I had a group of friends from high school that I got really into it, and we would watch it. Perfect for people who like maybe want to watch horror, but like are too scared to watch regular horror movies because it's like a step down from it. So, you know, you can watch Supernatural, which is like kind of scary sometimes, but not super scary. Like it's perfect for that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So my friends who would be like kind of wanting to dip their toes into horror, like it's perfect for that. We got together for that. And then, yeah, in college, we had a whole friend group that was like super into Supernatural at the time. And especially as the show, I think, I argue gets better every season in the first 5 years.
Oh yeah,
roughly.
Absolutely it does. Like every season, like not only is like the lore a little bit tighter in most places, which is something that I'm always looking for. I love continuity. I love when a show remembers its own business. But like all of the characters are getting better. All of the sets are looking more expensive. They have a little bit more money to throw around for the effects. It's just very, very good.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that really hooked me too as it went along, especially like around like the third and fourth season. Is like, oh, these little like random one-off things, like one-off characters or one-off like items or one-off elements from an earlier episode that seemed like it was a standalone is actually like becomes vitally important to a storyline later on. And like most of the time I could tell like, it's not because you guys like plan this way far in advance. It's just because you are that good at like identifying like, okay, this thing is really interesting. We have this in our toy box. So why not deploy it later on? Or why not like elevate its importance? Or why not use it later on? And so like it ends up being this show that starts out being kind of procedural, ends up like actually feeling like it was, you know, a much more like fluidly and organically created kind of ongoing plot. And I argue that first 5 seasons is like this really like exquisitely told story from like, beginning, middle to end. And I think has like this really beautiful, like amazing kind of ending to it. And, I hate saying it because is a lot of value in everything that comes after season 5. Some of the show's best episodes come after season 5, but I do think that like the first 5 seasons, if that was all that existed of this show, I feel like you could recommend to anyone as just saying this is just one of the genre greats that exists in TV.
Like post season 5 Supernatural has it has value, and we could all agree on that. But I think that when like the big difference is, of course, that the first 5 seasons were a complete story, and then every season after that was just kind of like extra. It was building on something that was already there with no set endpoint in sight. Especially after a certain point, when they just knew that they weren't going to get canceled, they can just go for however long they wanted to. So there was no real like tension there. Again, I'm just kind of speculating wildly because I haven't actually seen. This is just going off the knowledge.
Well, I've watched beyond season 5 because I did keep watching it. I watched pretty consistently up through season 8. And then I fell off a little bit. And then when the 200th episode rolled around, I was supposed to write an article for it for K-Site TV. So I then caught up with like season 9 and then up through wherever the 200th episode fell in season 10. So I could write that retrospective. And so like I kind of sped through all of it. And then after watching the 200th episode, which I liked, I thought it was...
Which one was the 200th again?
That was the fan fiction episode where they go to like a high school that does...
fan fiction! Beloved fan fiction. That one really...
It's good.
It's a good episode. It's full of like lots of heart and humor. I mean, like like all episodes of Supernatural, there's certainly some stuff in it. But like, I think that episode specifically kind of got... what people liked about the show, and kind of like there was a real heart in that one.
And it actually helped me watching that to kind of understand like where the show was at and like where it was and or wasn't for me, because it's sort of like I see how this is engaging with the audience that it's gained now, and I appreciate that, and I don't think the audience is really me anymore, but it clearly is like engaging with the audience that it has, and I think that that's like good. That's good for everybody involved. Actors get to keep their jobs because they got an audience. They seem to love it. Like it seemed to be a great show to work on, and the fans that it has, it could get to keep having the show for 5 more years.
It's interesting that you say that, because I have to say I've kind of always, especially as a Supernatural kept going on, I've kind of always felt like it kind of resented the fact that the kind of fans that it had.
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
Because especially if you read interviews from Eric Kripke early on, he had a very definite idea of the kind of people that were gonna watch his show, and a lot of the time, I don't know what it is exactly, but I kind of always got the feeling that they were resisting the people that they ended up watching the show. And it was, especially in the last episode, it was pretty clear that at the end of the day, the people that the show wanted to have were straight men who liked cars and hunting monsters.
Sure. That's, that makes sense. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the complicated thing that I feel, because I feel like that the 200th episode, I felt like, and it's been a long time since I watched it, so maybe I'd feel differently if I watched it now. At the time, I felt like it felt like a love letter to like that audience, because it is literally about like high schoolers putting on a play about Supernatural, Yeah. But I guess I don't really disagree with you though, knowing I didn't watch past that episode though. I was like, oh, I like this, maybe I'll watch more, and then never did, and was sort of like, actually, maybe I'm okay with that, just having been my last episode, saying that the last one I watched the 200th episode. And then I did watch the Scooby Natural episode because I had to.
Oh God, you have to. It's Scooby Natural.
Yeah, but that was the only post 200 episode I watched. And I know that there's some seasons and some individual episodes you will go to bat for in the later years, but I don't know. And then, after like there was just so much discourse about the last handful of episodes and some of the choices that it made that I'm just like, maybe I just don't care about Supernatural anymore. And then but then I watched this again for this podcast and I'm like, actually, I think I care about a certain like slice of Supernatural is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay with not really engaging beyond that slice of Supernatural that I'm into.
Listen, Supernatural, like what we've been talking about, I think is best. It's a pie. Supernatural is a pie, because you have lots of different flavors that sometimes maybe it wasn't made by the best baker. Maybe there's some parts of flour that didn't get fully mixed into the crust. But at the end of the day, if you like the slice that you have, then that's all that you need. You don't need the rest of the pie. You could just take what you have on your plate and be happy with it.
Sure. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, if I ever recommend this show to anyone, it usually is just more like, it obviously looks intimidating to see 15 seasons. I say plan to watch the first 5 because I think that is one solid TV show. And if you want to go beyond that, then like you can. But if not, then like season 5 can be your end goal and you get a perfectly good series finale at the end of that season and it's all great. And for the sound of it anyway, like the actual series finale, I haven't watched it. I've only read everything that happens in it because I was curious. The actual series finale does feel like just like a mirror of what the original season 5 version of the series finale was. Just
bad?
Yeah, just like a worse, I think, aiming to be more optimistic version of it, I guess. Whereas like obviously the season 5 series finale is like this really like beautifully poetic, kind of bittersweet, tragic ending. That's also like, yeah, you know, and I guess they tried to go for a happy ending version of that ending that they did.
But they both die. They die. I don't.
But I could sort of see how a version, like the idea that they had for the series finale could have, I see how you come up with that idea at a certain point in the show. Mm-hmm. But I think after it's run 15 seasons, like the idea that they have just doesn't really work.
No.
Yeah.
I have not personally watched with my own eyes the entirety of the last episode, but I have seen a lot of clips of it, and I do know, again, like you said, I've read all of the articles. I know exactly what happens. And I feel like COVID affected the filming a lot, but not as much as some would say. Anyway, did you know, and this is true, that they were supposed to have the band Kansas in heaven?
I did know that.
It's just, it's the second most ridiculous thing I know about the finale, with the first, of course, being Sam Swag.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that I think like one of the really great things about the sort of first 5 years of Supernatural, I mean, even extending to like season 6 too, I guess, is like, I feel like they found this really interesting way to sort of like weave like meta narratives into the show in a way that like made sense. And I think it worked really well early on in this sort of interesting reality bending kind of way. There's really interesting, just it, you know, if you haven't watched the show, there's just really cool meta stuff that they do and like that make it part of the show's lore, that there are like books written about the brothers that parallel episodes of the TV show. So it's like there's a supernatural fandom in the world of Supernatural, but it like makes sense in the universe of the show and everything. But like as the show went on, like the meta stuff I think maybe continued and escalated. So then by the time you get to the end of it, it's sort of like, yeah, we'll have Kansas playing Carry On Wayward Son in the series finale in heaven or whatever. Like I kind of see how it does kind of get flanderized to that point when your show runs long enough, you know?
Yeah. 15 years is truly so long. It's so long.
I think it's too long. I think it's, no matter what, the show could have been amazing every single season, and I think that's just too long for a show like, I think that it's not too long for certain things. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously something like Doctor Who, it reinvents itself all the time or whatever. It's almost built to be long running. Other things that are like institutions, like it makes sense. But I feel like when Supernatural was at its best, it was because it was just telling this a really kind of some very specific stories that were meant to have a very specific closed endpoint. Mm-hmm. And then once you lose that, like, I don't think it really was a show that was built to go on for 15 years, and it did anyway.
The showrunner, he was like, yeah, I have a 5-season plan. So it's like a pretty good cake that's covered in frosting. Again, I already said that Supernatural was pie, but here, hit me up with those baking metaphors. I got you.
Yeah, and this is why, I knew that obviously Supernatural can come up plenty of times on this podcast. There's so many episodes.
Oh my God, so
that
many
can be done. So many. I mean, that's one of the things I love about the show is how many completely bonkers episodes there are, and a lot of the time they're very, very, very good. But I really wanted to have you on for this first one because I know that like we share kind of similar thoughts, but I knew you were going to have a different perspective from mine because I just the way that the show engages with fandom is just so odd and interesting and fascinating and like both good and bad depending on how you look at it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I have you on for that because there's some of that stuff that I feel like I'm probably just not that knowledgeable on.
Well,
either,
again,
you know?
I do think you definitely need to have a Dean Caskerly, like a Heller, for the fiction episode.
Sure. I didn't know they're called Hellers. Is that the name?
That's it, Heller. But yeah, you should definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I don't have a recommendation. Like I have a lot of friends who can maybe poll, but I think that you got to find somebody because there are too many things in that episode specifically that I think that I wouldn't be able to offer the correct perspective on.
For sure. The show's got a weird legacy. I think the legacy in a lot of ways kind of does it a disservice because when it is good, it is very, very good. And it kind of sucks that like there are people who probably would really enjoy at least a section of the show that are probably put off by it being like the Super Hulock Tumblr show
God.
or
Don't talk to me about Super Hulock.
the show that ran,
Oh my God.
the show that never got canceled, you know, like it's just kind of a bummer because I think it does do a disservice to the show and even people who would have no issues with that, I think either are intimidated by the run or maybe go in with like different expectations from what it actually is because when you do start the show, I feel like I don't know if the legacy of the show makes clear that like no, in the first season it's like a mid-budget procedural like horror show from the WB. Like that is a very specific vibe.
Yeah.
And I don't know people are expecting that when they go into it and might be disappointed. Probably. When, you know, I think there's a crowd that would really like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And like, it's really good. I know that we've said this several times, but the first couple of seasons are just, they're this whole other vibe. And I love that vibe personally and specifically. Absolutely. It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Swan Song is still probably one of my favorite episodes of television that I've ever watched.
Yeah. It is one of the best series finales of all time that isn't an actual series finale.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful episode. Yeah. When Supernatural is good, it's very good. Like this episode, which I think is a very good episode of Supernatural.
Again, so we've been talking for too long. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Honestly, I don't really have a ton of like backstory, like production stuff for this one. Most of the stuff is like just fun little tidbits that we'll talk about in each section. Like by this point in the show, they're more or less firing on all cylinders.
Oh, 100%. Like they got it. They're going. They're cooking with gas.
Exactly. They've done enough wacky episodes that's sort of like, yeah, why don't we do this like wild reality bending episode? And like they kill it. And I don't think there is any struggles with it. And I think the CW was going to let them do whatever they wanted right by this point.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for scenes from next week's all-new Supernatural.
What's happening? Just the end of the world.
This Thursday.
Trickster trapped us in TV land.
You're a brilliant coward.
Appears to be a roll of quarters jammed down his throat.
Check about
300 channels? Nothing's on.
How long do we have to keep doing this?
You might die in here.
How was that funny?
Supernatural, all-new episode this Thursday, 9/8 Central on the CW.
So the gimmick of this one is that actually the gimmick of this is it's a really common one in TV. It's got its own TV tropes page.
Yeah.
With a good name that I like. The name of the TV trope is Trapped in TV Land.
I love this kind of episode. When I saw that they were doing this, I got so excited because this is actually a pretty common trope to pop up in like animated kids shows from like my childhood. So I had seen a ton of episodes like this. And when I saw that they were doing one in live action, even, I got so stoked because I thought that was so fun and so clever.
Yeah. And by this point in Supernatural, they'd gotten like beings that could reshape reality. So it's like the perfect avenue for it. And and you're right. There isn't a ton of live action examples. There are a number of them, but I think that I was trying to kind of research to see like, what's the earliest example or when did this really start? And it's kind of hard really to like nail down because there's so many variations of it. Depending on like, is it like characters that are going into books, TV shows and movies, or is it someone going into one movie or TV show, or is it someone just having a dream? Like all of those things are kind of different factors, I do think this one is unique in, for one, how many different TV shows they go into, and also how specific the examples are.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, they aren't going into a broad genre. Most of the shows that they go into are like parodying very specific shows that were popular at the time, and honestly, like weirdly, are still like popular now in one way or another.
Yeah.
So, oddly enough, speaking of long-running TV,
oh my God, for real.
But so, if you're listening and you're maybe kind of unfamiliar with the concepts, like popular examples include like the movie Pleasantville is about them going into a TV show. And then most recently, WandaVision is basically built on this premise.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
every episode is a different era of sitcom that they're in.
Yeah. And you can't forget the classic, I don't remember the episode name, but they do a version of this in the Fairly Odd Parents animated. Yeah, that one was really good, right? Especially because it wasn't like a straightforward version. It's been at least 20 years, so I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly, but I do think that there's also like a future element, like they're trying to stop an evil future version of Timmy from doing something, and while they're also in TV land.
Yeah, it was Channel Chasers, I think.
That's right. That's what it was. I love that episode.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, when cartoons do it, it's always great. Which Dead End Paranormal Park, which just came out like a couple of months ago, does like a Trapped in TV Land type of episode too, and it's very good.
It's incredible, like the way that they weaved. Again, just watch Dead End Paranormal Park. I'm gonna spoil things just a little bit, but you should watch it immediately right now before you continue the podcast episode. But the way that they weave in all of these different Pauline roles with the characters of the show, like living out, it's really good television.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really incredibly well done. Can I go on one really fun, like almost completely unrelated tangent, but one
Please,
that is,
I've never wanted anything more.
So when I was sort of just researching it, this concept seems like in live action, it first started popping up in the 80s on TV. I couldn't really find like solid examples of earlier. Like earliest is like, I think Amazing Stories did like an episode in 86 where like a dude gets transported into the movie Psycho is like the earliest kind of analog to it.
Of course.
But another early one was from 1988 from this short-lived sitcom that I've never heard of called Day by Day. Here's the thing about it. For one, among its cast, it starred Julia Louis-Dreyfus, post SNL, pre Seinfeld. It was the debut role for Thora Birch, who's the youngest daughter in Hocus Pocus, and was also in Ghost World. Yeah, it was her first role. It also starred Christopher Daniel Barnes, who is Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid and the '90s Spider-Man voice actor.
No, wait, hold on. I feel like I knew this, but I've forgotten. Are you telling me that Prince Eric is also Peter Parker?
Spider-Man. He is. Yep. He absolutely is.
If I wasn't already sitting down, I would say I have to sit down.
Oh, it gets weirder.
Okay.
So they did an episode where Christopher Daniel Barnes' character dreams that he is in an episode of the Brady Bunch. And in that episode, like they do an entire parody of a Brady Bunch episode, including bringing in 6 of the original Brady Bunch cast members. So it's like a semi-reunion that they have full on, like make it look like a Brady Bunch episode and everything. What's wild is that Christopher Daniel Barnes, a few years later, gets cast as Greg Brady in the 90s Brady Bunch movies.
Wait, for real? They manifested
it. They manifested it. Also, just like, what a career Christopher Daniel Barnes has had. Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid, Spider-Man in one of like the most iconic popular Spider-Man cartoons ever, and then like Greg Brady in Brady Bunch movies. Like he's played like 3 incredibly like iconic pop culture figures.
Nobody's doing it like him.
No. It's so wild. Anyway, I just like, that was a rabbit hole that I fell down when researching all of this
I
stuff.
love it. It's nothing I love more than a good research rabbit hole.
But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a lot of info, honestly, for like this particular episode of Supernatural, like backstory wise or whatever. So they'd already done, this is the third episode with the trickster. Like, I guess that's important context
Yes,
for listeners.
it's
if
very
been a
important
long
that you know
time.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't watched it or it's been a long time, like the trickster is a figure that like for season 2 and 3, like the comedy episodes that they had were because of him essentially.
I wouldn't say Mystery Spot is quite a comedy episode, though it is one of my favorites of their entire run.
But it's still very, very, very funny.
Oh, it's hysterical.
For the first half of it.
Oh my God.
It is still, I think that is my favorite episode of the show to this day. It's such a powerhouse and so unpredictable and bizarre. Like that's an episode that I highly recommend to anyone who's like is curious about this show. Like that's just a great example of how absolutely bananas this show could be in like a really clever, brilliant way.
It's truly so good. Again, it's one of my favorite ones, and the way I think that might be the episode that made me fall in love with time loops, because it's so good every time when you have a character trapped in a single day and just trying to figure it out. Time loops are the best.
Yes, especially when it's like death time loops.
Yeah.
So impeccably done. Yeah, and that's the last episode that the trickster appeared in. So this is his third episode and arguably the most important one in terms of like lore.
Yeah.
For him.
No, like there's some big reveals about his character in this episode that really set him up for the rest of his screen time on the show, including another one of my favorite episodes of Supernatural, Hammer of the Gods.
Yeah, it's a really fun one.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, again, we're just going to talk about a different episode of the show right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
The thing about Hammer of the Gods that I love is that it's a great episode. It's incredibly well done, and it's super, super fun. On the other hand, the thing about that episode is that it kind of is a betrayal of the promise of the first couple seasons, like the first two specifically.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just like, let's, plenty of other like, gods of lore and urban legend and other cultures.
I feel like
they all exist and we're just going to kill them so the Christian lore can be the primary one. Like, oh, okay.
It was, again, I have very complicated feelings on it because I love that episode. I really think it's great. But then there was a thing, I forget in what interview, but Eric Kripke says that everything is real and like no one pantheon is more powerful than the other. Like in like season 1 or 2, he says that. Like I think it was in reference to the episode about demons on the airplane. And then Hammer of the Gods happens, and we just it's categorically untrue then. Cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's, God, so many supernatural feelings and thoughts. One of the things that always surprised me that they didn't go in the direction of when the show started running forever is like, if you build this, they built this really great arc around like Christian lore, and I think they handled it impeccably well. But then like, once you're done with that, instead of continuing that, then why not have more arcs that are like from gods and stories of other lore instead of just the Christian lore, right? Like when you sort of establish that those things exist, you can really retcon that like, the gods that died in that episode could easily come back or whatever.
Yeah, or like you could deal with some of the other gods in those pantheons having to deal with the fact that their most powerful or popular figure from their religion is now dead, and they have to not only handle the post-apocalyptic like Christian stuff that's happening, but then also the fact that their own pantheon is incomplete, and maybe they could have had like a whole episode about how they keep trying to make a person into a new god and they keep exploding or something.
Sure. Then again, I don't know if that I trust Supernatural to do
absolutely not
stories about other cultures' gods. So maybe it's the best they stuck with just like basic Christian shit. I don't know. Supernatural is a complicated show.
It would have been better than the Leviathans, at least.
Well, that was a very low bar.
Do you remember when the Leviathans laced all of the food in the world with a very specific chemical? to make people stupider, and then they killed all of the Leviathans, and they never did anything about the fact that all of the food in the world was laced with this drug to make people stupider.
Yeah, I remember when they would kill Leviathans with just like a mixture of bleach because that was their weakness or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. This unkillable thing is totally killable with household cleaning objects. That's, of course, makes total sense.
This show could be really good sometimes, but
yeah,
when it's bad, it's pretty bad too. Unfortunately. Oh boy. Yeah. The only other interesting thing about this episode, I will say Richard Speight Jr., who plays, I guess I'm pronouncing his name right. I actually didn't check, and it would be very easy to check because he literally has a rewatch podcast that I'm sure he says his name on every episode,
Probably.
but I've never listened to it. But he has a rewatch podcast of Supernatural. I think they're only in season 1. He does it with, I forget his actor's name, but the actor who plays Chuck/God. They do it
spoilers
together,
for later
so.
Supernatural, by the way.
Oh, whoops. We've already spoiled plenty at this point,
Yeah.
you know. You'll forget it. There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's so many things.
Yeah. But yeah, he plays the trickster. He also went on to direct a bunch of episodes too, which is pretty cool. He seems like a genuine fan of the show. He cited this as, I think, one of, if not his favorite episode.
It's an incredible episode. Like, this one really, really hits it out of the park on all fronts.
And the CW submitted it for an Emmy too.
Did they really?
Yeah, it didn't get nominated, but they submitted this, and they also submitted from this season The End, the episode where Dean time travels to past the apocalypse.
Yeah. I love that episode.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every episode from this season is good, is the thing. So
when you're right, you're right. Why didn't they nominate Swan Song?
I don't know, actually.
Because
Yeah,
if we're nominating Supernatural episodes for Emmys, I think that one deserves it. Not that the other two don't, but also, just saying.
Yeah, it could have been a timing thing for, because it came out so late in the season.
I guess that's fair. Anyway, justice for
yeah.
Swan. Oh, that was incredibly bad.
Oh no, yeah, but it definitely, would have been too late because they were submitting for, I think, the 2009 season, and Swan Song came out in 2010 because it was the end of the season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's probably why. So they might have, I don't know, they maybe they submitted it the year after or something. I don't know. Or maybe they just didn't.
They just didn't, and that's fine. You know what? They had a lot of stuff going on. They had a new showrunner, who's my own personal enemy, Sarah Gamble.
Oh, gee whiz. I mean, her seasons aren't great.
No, Sarah, I know that you're listening to Gimmicks, as you should, because it's a wonderful podcast. Sarah Gamble, meet me behind the Denny's parking lot at 3 a.m. We're going to rumble.
Oh boy. Anyway, let's talk about a good episode of Supernatural.
Let's actually talk about the thing we're supposed to talk about after like an hour.
Yeah, look, I knew that this was going to be a hefty one, so it's fine. I was prepared.
Town to town, 2-lane roads, family biz, 2 hunting bros, living the lie just to get by. As long as we're moving forward, there's nothing we can't do. Together we'll face the day. You and I won't run away. When the demons come out to play, together we'll face the day.
If you want to watch this episode, it is available for streaming on Netflix. So this episode, we're talking about changing channels. The synopsis per IMDb is Dean and Sam are thrown into an alternate universe by the Trickster, where they are characters in different TV series. The original air date was November 5th, 2009. It was written by Jeremy Carver, who started right on the show back in season 3 and then actually became the showrunner for seasons 8 through 11.
Oh, I liked him. He was good.
Yeah. I think his seasons were like a good return to form, I think. Mm-hmm. He also was the executive producer on the American Being Human remake.
Oh, wait, are you serious? I love that show.
I did too. My hot take, I like it better than the British version.
I 100% agree. I really, God, I loved that show.
Yeah, I think it was very good. He also, I didn't even know this, he most recently developed the Doom Patrol show that I've heard good
Oh my
things about, too.
God. Did he really? Doom Patrol is great.
Yeah. I haven't watched it, but I've only heard good things. I definitely want to check it out at some point.
It's super, super good.
Dude does good work.
I am a fan.
Yeah. This episode was directed by Charles Beeson, who directed a handful of episodes from season 2 to 6, and then came back for like a number of episodes in the final season 15. Like, so he had a gap and then came back, interestingly enough.
A couple years.
Yeah, just a couple. He's also the co-executive producer on Timeless alongside Eric Kripke, and he also directed on EastEnders, Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, and Fringe.
Oh my God. Oh, two of my favorites.
Yeah. Good people. Great genre stuff from this time that they're both working on. So this episode, there's lots of stuff going on here. So right from the get-go, they nail it.
Yeah. No, I forgot that they were just like jumping right in.
Yeah.
I remembered like the build-up stuff that happens later. Just like, they'll go to the police office, all of that stuff. No, it just immediately in the probably the most gift episodes of the gift 2 minutes of the whole show.
Supernatural is filmed before a live studio audience.
I'm gonna need a bigger mouth. Hey there, Sam. What's happening?
Oh, nothing. Just the end of the world.
They're in this like brightly colored set with bright green like wallpaper with like flowers all over it, like this floral wallpaper that looks very
bright yellow
70s,
wallpaper with green flowers. Sorry to interrupt.
It's amazing. It's
so
amazing.
Good. And I don't know what the truth is because I wasn't paying attention until the very, very last time I rewatched it, like 2 hours ago. So I didn't get time to fact check here, but I think that every time we see the hotel, it has a different name.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Well, because I only noticed it twice because the first time we see it, it's definitely called the Sand Dunes. And then the second time we see it, which is during the Knight Rider sequence, it's called Easy Daisy or something. It's like there's like a flower in the logo, and there's a big part that's like, it's got color TV.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a fun thing to pay attention to next time you happen to be watching Changing Channels.
Well, yeah, this is clearly, even though we don't know the context or why this is happening, this is clearly like a parody of like very 80s sitcoms. Like this isn't one that's like an exact parody of a specific show, but it's definitely like a Miller-Boyett kind of thing, like a Full House or Perfect Strangers or something like that. Even like the font in the opening credits is basically just the Full House font.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's great. I mean, like, and they have all your little sitcom staples. There's like a giant sandwich. Dean's got a catchphrase that's "son of a bitch."
No, it's so funny. The first time I rewatched this episode, because it had been a really long time since I had seen Supernatural at all, but Dean pulls out that giant sandwich on the table. And my mind was like, oh my God, he finally lived his dream in the Supernatural episode of eating his big sandwich. Good for him.
That's so true. That's so true. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, and if you're really paying attention, look at all of the labels in the fridge because they're very funny.
What if there's like a Spam one that just says Smeat, like S-meat?
Schmeat. It's Schmeat. It's not real meat. It's Schmeat.
It's great.
It's so good.
But it's good. Yeah, it's just an entire sitcom opening, and they have this perfect, beautiful parody of like sitcom opening sequences with like a theme song that unfortunately is very catchy, and
it's good. It like, is. Why don't we have a full version of it? I want to listen to this on Spotify. It's so good.
Like, I remember it being stuck in my head a lot back in the day when I first watched this and we rewatched it on DVD, hadn't thought about it in many, many years. And then watching it again, it's like, I watched it a few days ago and it's been stuck in my head ever since. And like, I'm like, oh, I instantly know all of the words. I remember the exact tune. Like, it is a perfect Miller-Boyett type theme song. It fits perfectly. And it even like does all the fun stuff where they're like have their like fun little freeze frames with their names, like Sam like being scared of the ghost, like the sheep ghost in the closet. them on the bikes,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to them being on these like little Vespa scooters. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's truly magical. Like, it's so funny and so great and absolutely perfect. And then when you immediately go back to reality and you see like how much more the colors had been saturated in the sitcom, and like it's the same hotel room, it's just the walls clearly haven't been cleaned since like the 70s or 80s with that same wallpaper. It's just really nicely done.
Yeah, it does make you pay attention to like how this show looks normally. Like there is like the way the show does look all the time, the way it's lit, it's like a lot of like low lighting and a lot of like not at all saturated, like kind of muted colors and stuff like that. And they use it to good effect so that every single time they're in a different TV show, it looks like so radically different from how the show normally looks. But yeah, like it's so funny. There's no explanation for why it's a sitcom thing. And then when it cuts out of the teaser after the credits, it is back in the real world. And Dean is watching a show called Dr. Sexy MD,
which is based on a book, he thinks.
Well, I didn't remember this at all, but that Dr. Sexy MD is referenced in season 4 in the episode where they find out that like their lives are being written as books called Supernatural.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the publisher like references like the other book series, Dr. Sexy MD.
Oh my God.
Like this is pulled from the lore of the show, and then they made a TV adaptation for this episode of those books.
I am absolutely losing it. That is the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I love that.
The layers, I think, too, because I don't know if they intended to like, they might have had the idea to do this episode at some point, you know, because it's just such a typical kind of thing to do. Mm-hmm. But I imagine when they made that joke initially in season 4, I think if I remember the context was sort of like, it was in competition with the Supernatural books, right? Mm-hmm. And in real life, Grey's Anatomy was airing right up against Supernatural's time slot. Like Grey's Anatomy was Thursdays at 9 at the same time as Supernatural. So I think the joke then was like making fun of Grey's Anatomy being Supernatural's, you know, competitor. And then you get to this episode and they parody it directly. And spoiler for a little bit later, when they do a CSI parody, the other show that was also airing in Supernatural's time slot on CBS that was its competitor was CSI Vegas. So
wait, so it's they're parodying Vegas?
I think that they're parodying Miami.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, they're parodying Miami, but it was another CSI show that was airing in the same time slot, I think is why they kind of chose it. Mm-hmm. But Miami is like the one that everybody knows that's more recognizable, so that's what they're going to actually pull from, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it was still a CSI show that it was a competition against, which is kind of funny.
It's hysterical. That's really, really funny. I think I knew that, but I kind of forgot it. I will fight you about which is the more recognizable series, though, when we get to it. Don't worry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know shit about CSI. All I know is what's his name? Redhead David.
Yes.
Wait, is it David Caruso? Right?
Yeah, that's him
with the sunglasses. That's all I know, and that's CSI Miami, right? I didn't get that wrong.
No, you're 100% correct. I've always had truly terrible taste because I love police procedurals, love them.
Sure.
Oh man, the amount of propaganda I have consumed for pleasure is truly astronomical. Anyway,
we've all got our problematic faves. It's okay.
Oh, I'm not even sure that they're my favorite. I just like to watch them. But yes, Miami is the more mimetic one, but Vegas was the original, and it has the more beloved and memorable characters. Like there's been a revival of Vegas, but there hasn't been of Miami because everybody just knows the memes.
Right.
And also there was a CSI New York, but nobody ever talks about that one either.
Okay. I didn't know that CSI Vegas was the first one.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
I thought that I just assumed there was a show that was just called CSI. And then CSI Miami spun off of it.
Yes, that is 100% correct. So it was just called CSI. But when there were other shows, they had to differentiate it somehow. And so fans call it CSI Vegas, but the actual name of the show was just CSI. The revival season might be called CSI Vegas. I don't know. I haven't watched it at all.
Interesting. I didn't know there was a revival season, so that's
Yeah.
out of touch with the police procedurals that were at many points the biggest TV shows on Earth.
Yeah.
Have no knowledge of any of them.
You know what? You are better off, truly and completely.
Sure. Definitely big TV blind spot for me, considering how important like cop procedurals are to like the history of television. Big blind spot for me. I've seen very, very few of
Listen,
those.
you are not
ever.
missing out. And if you have any questions, I'm always available because
Beautiful.
I've probably watched at least a couple episodes of it.
Good to know. I might have to consult you on that at some point in the future. Definitely for this one. So the plot to this episode, after we establish Dr. Sexy
Sorry.
No, you're good. This is great. I mean, all the setup stuff, we can gotta run through it because it's really just to get them to the trickster.
Mm-hmm.
They investigate like a murder that was deemed a bear attack, but they suspect it might be something supernatural because the bear apparently like chased the victim all the way up to like his bedroom and ripped his head off or whatever. But not normal bear behavior, essentially. So they investigate it. They talk to the wife. The wife's like, it has to be a bear, right? She's trying to convince herself that it was a bear attack because once they finally like get her to talk about what she really saw.
I could have sworn I saw the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk.
I told you, it's crazy.
Banner or Norton?
Oh no, those movies were terrible. The TV Hulk.
Lou Ferrigno.
Yes.
Spiky hair Lou Ferrigno.
Yes. You think I'm crazy?
No. No, it's just... Is there... would there be any reason that Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, would have a grudge against your husband?
Which they have a fun little bit where it's just like Banner or Norton. And she's like, no, those movies were terrible.
She's not wrong.
And it's funny too, because I'm like, oh yeah, this is 2009. Like the MCU, like wasn't known as the MCU. It was like 2 Marvel movies had come out like in that continuity by that point. And one of them is like a barely in continuity and was a reboot of another Hulk movie that had just come out a few years before then. So what an odd state to have existed in, like that. It's such like a different kind of reference now,
Yeah, for sure.
So that's weird. The Lou Ferrigno Hulk killed a guy, apparently.
My absolute favorite part of that whole scene is after they establish that it was indeed Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk. Dean just kind of looks down and he's like, well, I guess I have to continue this interview now. And he asks, do you have any reason why Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, would have a grudge against your husband? And it's so funny. It's so fun. I don't know why that specifically gets me every time, but it sure does.
It's so funny. It's just it's so absurd. And so obviously like that's weird. But they very quickly kind of acquire the clues to figure out what's going on, honestly.
Very quickly.
They're like, we've been down this road before. It's like a weird sort of funny, like kind of ironic murder. They like find that like the victim had a history of anger issues. So it's like, oh, the Hulk, you wouldn't like him when he's angry. The Hulk kills a guy who has anger issues. That's a just desserts kind of thing.
And also there's just like a million candy wrappers that I just picked up and brought with me for some reason.
Yeah, like, okay, Sam, thanks. Great work there, buddy. You could have just said that you found candy wrappers. You didn't have to put the trash in your pocket.
No, not only that.
From a crime scene?
Not only that, but like he says, the only thing I found was this huge hole in the wall. And then Dean gives his clue that he found. He's like, well, that makes sense because I found these candy wrappers. It's like, buddy, I thought the only thing you found was the hole in the wall.
Right. Okay, buddy. Well, TV writing, I guess, sometimes.
You gotta have it back and forth. You gotta have bantered or else the scene drags.
Yeah, exactly. All of that exposition is just to get them to the point where like, well, these clues point to the trickster. We've met this guy before, old enemy. We've seen this deal. We know that this fits his MO perfectly.
Okay, pin in that though, because
Sure.
old enemy ? The thing that Dean doesn't know, but Sam does. Sorry, we're going to talk about Mystery Spot a little bit here.
Yeah, sure.
Is that they reference Mystery Spot a few times, and Dean very specifically is like, yeah, I've been wanting to gank him since Mystery Spot because he killed me a million times. the thing that Sam knows that Dean doesn't, and it's part of the reason why Sam wants to approach him about, the whole apocalypse scenario, is because they made it to a Wednesday where Dean died immediately, and Sam had to live without Dean for 6 months. Or something along those lines. And then he tracked down the trickster again and was like, hey, can you do me a solid and just take me back to that Wednesday? I'm literally begging you. And he does it.
Yeah.
So like,
it's such a good episode because it is just so wild.
Mystery Spot rules extremely hard.
It's such an incredibly good episode of TV. And you're right. I think that it's funny how kind of unspoken that is in this episode. I guess it's kind of in the recap, but like it's not really commented on this episode because that's kind of the whole mindset that Sam is approaching this with, because his sort of first thought is like, okay, like we could kill the trickster, but I think that we could actually talk to him and reason with him and maybe actually bring him in to help us save the world.
You don't want to kill him, then what?
Talk to him?
What?
Look, think about it, Dean. He's one of the most powerful creatures we've ever met. Maybe we can use him.
For what?
Okay, Trickster's like a Hugh Hefner type, right? Wine, women, song. Maybe he doesn't want the party to end. I mean, maybe he hates this angels and demon stuff as much as we do. Maybe he'll help us.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Ally with the trickster?
Yeah.
A bloody, violent monster. And you want to be Facebook friends with him? Nice, Sammy.
The world is going to end, Dean. We don't have the luxury of a moral stand.
Which is a really cool like twist to the beginning of this episode, I think.
Yeah, it's really good and it's really lovely motivation. And like I totally get where Sam's coming from, because from his experience, like that seems pretty possible, pretty likely even, because obviously the trickster is pretty hedonistic. Why not try and get one of the most powerful things that have ever crossed your path on your team? It makes sense.
Yeah, this whole season, the thing that I think makes the season so good is that there is this like really wild sense of inevitability of like, no, the apocalypse is going to happen. There is going to be a war between heaven and hell that no human can stop. And like the only reason it's not happening right now is because you two men are not saying yes to like a deal. And every force in the universe is trying to make you say yes to this deal to help them make that war happen. Right. So it's like, it's such a bizarre, dire situation that they're in that it's like, yeah, I guess you're going to ask the reality bending monster to help you out. 'Cause like, what the hell else are you going to do, man? Like, So they pretty quickly hear on the police scanner that there's like a murder. It's like some abandoned paper mill or whatever. That's like nobody can explain it. So they're like, it sounds weird. So it's probably the trickster, right?
Yeah. Like the guy very specifically they hear on the radio is like, just send everybody. And I wonder why they didn't immediately suspect something was weird, because like nobody talks like that in real life.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in their defense, like even when they get there and they see that there's like no cops around, they're sort of like, okay, I guess something weird is going on here, but like, what else are we going to do but go into the abandoned creepy factory right now? One little detail that I like in the past, they have been able to quote unquote kill, but basically just like temporarily debilitate the trickster with like wooden stakes. So they pull the wooden stakes out of the Impala and like the stakes are stained with blood on the tips, which I think is a really fun detail because it's like,
oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, both of them are like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, they have stabbed many creatures with these stakes. Like they're not going to look pristine. They're going to be stained with blood.
That kind of thing is my favorite detail. I love little things that reward viewing. I'm enamored.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so they get their bloodied stakes and head into the abandoned factory. But as soon as they like go through the door, they immediately find themselves in this vibrantly colored hospital, which specifically Seattle Mercy Hospital. They're dressed as doctors. There's like this like quiet indie music playing in the background.
It's the same song as was playing when Dean saw the little clip of the show earlier, which I thought was a very nice little touch.
And they very quickly realized like, oh shit, we are in Dr. Sexy MD.
Doctor.
Ow!
Seriously.
What?
Seriously? You're brilliant, you know that?
And a coward. You're a brilliant coward.
What are you talking about?
As if you don't know.
I don't believe this.
What?
That was Dr. Piccolo. Who? Dr. Ellen Piccolo, the sexy yet earnest doctor at Seattle Mercy Hospital.
Dean? What the hell are you talking about?
The doctor get-ups, the sexy interns, the seriouslys. It all makes sense.
What makes sense? What's going on?
We're in Dr. Sexy MD.
Which is very obviously a Grey's Anatomy parody.
Oh, so
Like,
obviously. I've never seen
so
Grey's
funny.
Anatomy, and I knew immediately. It was like, oh, yep, hello, Grey's Anatomy. How you doing?
Like the really like soft, bright lighting like that they have there, and the fact it's like literally the first thing that happens is like they open a broom closet and people are just making out in them, and it's just like, yep, that's Grey's Anatomy, I guess. The other great thing about this scene, the thing that makes Dean like fully realize like, oh, we are definitely in this TV show right now, is that like Sam is slapped across the face by Dr. Ellen Piccolo, and she has this great, beautiful line that says, seriously, you're brilliant. You know that? You're a coward, a brilliant coward. It's such a good like soap opera line, like drama line. And a few things about Dr. Ellen Piccolo, because this is like stacked with references. Dr. Ellen Piccolo sounds a lot like Ellen Pompeo, who's the star of Grey's Anatomy. She's played by Christine Chatelain, killing it with these like names that I can't pronounce today.
You're doing fantastic, and I'm very proud of you.
But she previously played Jenny the Vampire in season 1 and then came back weirdly in the series finale. She's playing Dr. Ellen Piccolo in this. So they've got like their fun little references to their own show happening within this. But yeah, I mean, there's just like a few little bits. I love this whole segment I think is kind of like the powerhouse of the episode, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they really kill it constantly, like the way that Dean describes every single doctor that walks by, like,
But there goes Dr. Wang, the sexy but arrogant heart surgeon. And there's Johnny Drake. Oh, he's not even alive. He's a ghost in the mind of her, the sexy but neurotic doctor over there.
So, this show has ghosts? Why?
I don't know. It is compelling.
I thought you said you weren't a fan.
I'm not. Oh, boy.
What?
It's him.
Who?
It's him. It's Dr. Sexy.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's very funny. And like this episode is definitely one of the ones that the By Dean truthers point to, because he truly just has a crush on Dr. Sexy, and that's fine. We can all just admit that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so clearly. I also love that it literally is. That's just his name, Dr. Sexy.
I know. It's the most ridiculous part about the whole thing.
Yeah, they all just play it so straight, like Dr. Sexy. Oh, it's Dr. Sexy. We're in Dr. Sexy. It's like the most absurd name for a television show. It's like they don't call Grey's Anatomy like Dr. McDreamy or whatever his name is. Like it's not called that, but in this, nope, it's just right there, right on the forefront.
It's very good.
The other thing that I love too is I think there's a pretty famous plot line from Grey's Anatomy where there's just like a character who's like a ghost that only exists inside the head of one of the characters, right?
I don't know Grey's Anatomy at all. But isn't the ghost played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Yep. The ghost is played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays the Winchester's dad on this show, or I guess did by this point. He's like long dead, but yeah. So I think that's why they make it a point to call out, like they're like, oh, that's a ghost, but that can only be seen by the sexy yet neurotic doctor. And they're just like, why does this show have ghosts? That's so weird. One quote that I had from this segment from Eric Kripke was about the music specifically, because I do think there's a pretty famous quote from the pilot script of the Supernatural pilot. I don't love it. I think it's a little too like toxic masculine bullshit.
Oh, wait, hold on. You say Eric Kripke said some toxic masculinity adjacent garbage? I don't know what you're saying, Tarek.
The quote in the pilot script is, it says, cue music, and it says, and you can take your anemic alternative pop and shove it up your ass. Dean plays bass thumping, pile driving Zeppelin, and he plays it loud.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that is something like, I think it gets softened as the show goes along. But, early on, it's very much like, well, we play cassette tapes of like 70s classic rock in our Impala right now. And in this episode, it was like very conscious that they're sort of like, they said that they like took very great care in choosing the music for it, because they're sort of like, we obviously don't play like indie pop songs on this show very pointedly, so it's gonna make the show immediately sound very different.
So I have a question. The song that plays during the part where Sam is operating on Dean after he gets shot, because obviously that happens in the hospital, is that a real song, or was that...
All of those songs are apparently real.
Okay.
Yes, those are apparently real songs.
Okay, because that was the thing. I didn't research this. I just didn't. I chose this like, listen, it's going to be a fun surprise, and I'm going to say things, and they'll be true or they won't.
Sure, that's what podcasting is, honestly.
But so like during when I was watching the episode, at several points, the closed captioning would say what song it was, but for that song it didn't. And the way that it lined up so specifically with what was happening like on the screen, and talking about like how things were real and yada yada yada, I kind of was half wondering, did they write a song to go in this episode that there was like
You're making me doubt it, because it's not a good,
it's not
it
good.
Like a fake song. Honestly, it's not good. But I didn't see it listed as like a song that they wrote for the show. But I also wouldn't be surprised, because it doesn't sound like it sounds like a fake song that you would write for a show to parody.
It sounds so fake, especially because it
starts
starts very much similar to like the earlier song, and just like it's a woman and there's quiet instrumental stuff happening in the background. She talks about her feelings, and then about halfway through, right as Sam starts playing his role, it like switches to almost kind of like an R&B kind of feel. Almost, I don't know how to describe it other than a deeply different genre while still being the same song.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of questions if it's a real song, about why those were the choices that were made.
Yeah. And like, I was just like, I'm looking at like the Supernatural wiki, and it doesn't like specify either way. Like, it lists the names of all these songs, and they're just by like random people that I don't recognize. And it doesn't say that it was specifically like written for the show or anything. So, which would lead me to believe, I feel like the Supernatural wiki would identify
that's a well-organized wiki, let me tell you.
Right. So that makes me think it is a real song. Sorry to the person who made that song. I don't think you did a great job, but
listen, you know what?
But if it was a fake song, you did a killer job.
They had a case of the Mondays. It's fine.
Yeah. What is funny though, is that it said that apparently Supernatural and Grey's Anatomy share a music supervisor, oddly enough, Alex Petsavis. So like they did still have like a connection, which I think made it easier to just be like, hey, can you just, the songs that you do for Grey's Anatomy, can you use that here? And I think Kripke said, I think a few of them may have even been used on Grey's like already, which is hilarious.
I think the only thing that would have been better is if there was a show that was on this show first and then went on to be on Grey's.
That would be amazing. Yeah, it's great stuff. It's such a well-constructed parody, all like the face slapping and everybody just always being really teary-eyed and all the beautiful women and everything in it. It's good stuff.
And like the jobs that the doctor has, like Dr. Sexy comes up to Dean and is talking about like the experimental face transplant. And I just like, truly, this is definitely a television show, because why is there experimental face transplant happening more than once?
Yeah, so many experimental face transplant and taken like 100%.
Oh my god, so seriously.
In the world of the show too, so seriously.
And like I forget what Dr. Piccolo says that Sam's specialty is, but I think he's like a neurosurgeon.
Something like that, or like neurovascular or something.
Okay, so
like that.
Definitely a neurosurgeon. If he's neurovascular, it'd be like the veins in the brain, which is such a very specific thing. And then he's later just operating on a gunshot wound. It's like, yeah, that sounds like television.
Right. Yep. I mean, you're a doctor, so you can do doctor things, right? That's what doctors do, is operate on people.
Once you have your doctorate, you can do anything that even remotely requires adjacent science knowledge. That's just how doctorates work.
Absolutely. Yep, that's what it means to be a doctor. This episode rules.
It's so good.
They do eventually encounter the trickster himself. He's in the form of Dr. Sexy himself, which
is very important to note that Dean knows.
Yeah, Dean knows because he knows Dr. Sexy so well. He knows that Dr. Sexy has trademark cowboy boots, which is fucking ridiculous.
Ridiculous. You are standing on your feet all day as a doctor, sir. What are you doing?
Yeah, and since he's not wearing those trademark cowboy boots, he's like, you're obviously the trickster in disguise. And it is.
Get us the hell out of here.
Or what? Don't see your wooden stakes, big guy.
That was you on the police scanner, right? This is a trick.
Hello, trickster. Come on! I heard you two yahoos were in town. How could I resist?
Where the hell are we?
I like it. It's all homemade. My own sets, my own actors. Call it my own little idiot box.
How do we get out?
That, my friend, is the $64 question.
Whatever. We need to talk to you. We need your help.
Let me guess. You two muttonheads broke the world, and you want me to sweep up your mess.
Please. Just 5 minutes. Hear us out.
Sure. Tell you what. Survive the next 24 hours. We'll talk.
Survive what?
The game.
What game?
You're in it.
And then he dips out, and they're just like stuck in Dr. Sexy right now.
Yeah, he very specifically is like, we're playing a game, and I'm not going to tell you the rules when you ask. I'm just to do a little fun little eyebrow waggle that the actor just absolutely kills, and then he winks.
He's so good.
And then it's like a beautiful static dissolve, and he's just out of the scene.
And then very quickly, like we had the distraught husband who's asking Dr. Dean about giving his wife a face transplant she desperately needs. And Dean's like, fuck off, man. Leave me alone. I'm in a bad mood. So the guy, of course, pulls a gun out and shoots him in the back. Which is wild.
Common hospital behavior that happens every hospital, don't you know?
Hospital, of course. And yet, I'm sure it's happened multiple times on Grey's Anatomy and definitely happened on House once or twice. So Dr. Sam has to operate on his own brother to get the bullet out. And, he kind of realizes, he's like, I just got to go with it, I guess. He starts playing his role as a doctor.
Sam, come on, I'm waiting. Okay, I need a penknife, some dental floss, a sewing needle, and a fifth of whiskey. Stat!
And yeah, he gets the bullet out and sews up his brother, and it works out. And from there, before we go to the next section, I fucking love as this terrible song is playing in the background.
It's not good.
It's so bad. But you see Dr. Piccolo like from the other side of the window, like watching into the operating room, like mouthing "I love you" to Sam, and he's just like, okay, like doesn't know how to respond to that.
No, he's so visibly uncomfortable, and it's just not acknowledged by the scene at all. It's great.
But yeah, we're done with Dr. Sexy because once Sam fixes Dean, they find themselves in a Japanese game show called Nutcracker.
Let's play Nutcracker!
Where they're like locked into this machine that basically just like hits them in the nuts whenever they get a question wrong, but the questions are all Japanese. So of course they're going to get all the questions wrong. So is this section like offensive or not? I really can't tell. I don't know. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you either, as I am also a white person. But I thought when I watched that scene, I was like, oh, so it's like that one show that they used to do that was they took a really cool and very interesting Japanese game show, and then they just redubbed over it with whatever.
Yeah. Is that like MXP
yes,
or something?
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that show, though I've seen a lot of advertisements for it. And so it's like, I guess that's what they're going for. I really like the actor who's playing the main guy. I've seen him a bunch of other stuff. He's very talented.
Yeah. Well, actually, we've seen all these actors now. Funny enough, there are 3 actors in this episode who have all played like major and or recurring roles on Smallville. Oddly enough, this actor, Hero, I mean, it's Vancouver and like Vancouver actors on CW, like they're all in everything, right?
Like get your paycheck.
It's like how the UK, it's like how the UK has like 5 actors. Vancouver has like 5 actors. You're gonna see them in everything. But it's funny because like this actor, Hiro Kanagawa, was like the principal on Smallville. Steve Bachik, I think, he plays Dr. Sexy. He was like the Dark Archer, like a Green Arrow villain on Smallville. And then the wife whose husband died in the bear attack at the beginning, she's Sarah Jane Redmond, who was Lana's Aunt Nell, like throughout the whole first season of Smallville.
Yeah, no, I know exactly who she is.
Yeah.
Sorry, one last thing before we move on. Can we talk about Dr. Sexy just a little bit more?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Can I just say that I do not understand the Dr. Sexy hype at all, because I think it's very specifically the way that he walks during his full body introduction moment, like walking down the hall. He has his hands in his lab coat pocket and he's walking with his hands like that. And it just looks so stiff and unnatural. I'm like, what is happening? If this is supposed to be sexy, it is not. You look like you are a toddler who is told to go to your room.
Well, like the joy of this episode too is that like, that could be intentional or not. Like it could be a bad direction that they try to make look sexy and he doesn't look sexy, or it could just be like how bad this show is, that the Dr. Sexy doesn't even look sexy. I truly don't know which. Like either I think would be totally valid in the context
and
of
like
this episode.
I'm so sorry to the actor who plays Dr. Sexy, but every time I think about Dr. Sexy as a concept, I just see him walking down the hallway with his hands in his pockets and he just looks so silly.
Yeah, he looks very silly. Dr. Sexy does not make an impact on me. I don't even remember what his face looks like, to be honest. So
you can't focus on it with all of the hair and the non-cowboy boots and also the way that he walks.
Yeah, and somehow I'm sure it's gone for 15 seasons.
More, 20, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't think that it happens, but I wish that they had filmed like later on, like at like what they did with what you were talking about in the expose episode of Gimmicks, which is very good and you should listen to it if you haven't already. Sorry, I just compulsively plug your stuff.
I'm fine with that.
Your expose episode was incredible, just saying.
It was super fun to do.
But you guys talk about the fact that you wish that they had done more expose episodes to just be showing in the background. And I think it would have been so funny if that was kind of like a reoccurring gag, that he would just keep watching Dr. Sexy and we could see what other crazy zany things are happening.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. It would be very fun.
Well, it's yours. You had it originally, so there you go. I've repackaged it for you.
That's why I love the idea, because it was mine. So, of course. So this Nutcracker segment, I do think that I feel like more than an actual specific Japanese game show, I think they're more pulling from an SNL skit, honestly, because
really
there is I don't remember if it was like just one or if they did like multiple, like a runner of it. But there's an SNL skit where Chris Farley is like an American tourist who accidentally ended up on this Japanese game show that's like very similar, where they're just like asking him questions in Japanese and he's like, I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. Like it's the exact same type of situation. And it's just like it gets more ridiculous and escalated more and more. And he just gets, tortured and abused basically. So I feel like they're riffing from that more than like an actual existing Japanese show.
Japanese game shows are wild. So I don't doubt that this does exist.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to get into it right now, but there's some Japanese game shows that literally haunt my nightmares. So what are you going to do?
Sure. This one, it's not super long. Really, the two important things that happen in it are that Castiel shows up.
Is this another trick?
It's me. What are you doing here?
Us? What are you doing here?
Looking for you. You've been missing for days.
So get us the hell out of here then.
Let's go.
Cass? No, 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 no. Mr. Trickster does not like pretty boy angels.
And he's like, I've been looking for you for days. Which, like, didn't the trickster say that it survived 24 hours and they've been there for days?
Yes. So this little bit really confuses me because what exactly is the truth? Because at the very when we leave TV land and go like set up things, they say like 48 hours earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's that in the mix. We have Cass saying that they've been missing for days. And then we also have like that whole 24-hour thing. And I truly don't know if it matters, but I that little bit of consistency always bugs me.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter, and I guess that, but it's weird because the fact that they specify 24 hours and then specify days, it's like you could have just left out that specificity, honestly.
Well,
like,
I mean,
you didn't have to drop any of those if you know, it probably would have made it, because it's all like reality bendy anyway. Like, nobody knows where or when any of this is, you know. So
yeah, well, so Sam does say when we head back to the sitcom segment, he was like, I don't know, maybe we'll die here. So I do believe that they definitely spent a lot longer than the 24 hours in the TV bubble.
Sure.
But the amount of time that they spend in the real world gone and missing, who can say?
Yeah, comparatively, it's hard to to tell exactly.
Maybe they just missed their check-in with Cass doing something else, and we're planning. It's like, yeah, we'll talk to him tomorrow, and then they by the time that they normally do their check-in, they'd already been taking the trickster. So maybe Cass was operating on the assumption that they've been missing for 3 days instead of 48 hours.
Or that's perfectly acceptable. Or maybe it's only been like a few minutes or whatever, or a day or whatever in the real world, but Cass has been searching like through different like bubble universes or whatever, however you can do. Because I mean, this is some kind of alternate reality kind of thing. I don't think it's a thing. I'm sure it's a thing where it's like, it's not a physical space or something like that. It's just some bubble universe in our universe or whatever. So maybe, I don't know what the scope of Castiel's reality traversing powers are at this point, but like, he could have been looking in a space where time doesn't really matter, and for him it was like the equivalent of days that he's searching through different realities.
Maybe I don't know why I kind of always got. I guess I never really examined the notion in my head, but I always had thought that Cass immediately found them because he was like, the trickster didn't know that he was coming, so he immediately was like, oh, they're in this bubble, and he popped down to there, and then after that point he was shunted into whatever like prison reality he had spent most of the rest of the episode in.
Sure, that makes sense. That actually, I kind of like that better, actually. Time doesn't matter in these bubble universes. I guess nothing
time
lines up.
Isn't real anyway. So let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So he shows up and he's like, what's going on? But like, he's immediately like sent away in static. Like, he doesn't get to do anything.
And the game show host is like, no, Mr. Trickster doesn't want this. And very threatening, very good.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. I love that actor. He really kills it in this scene.
Oh my gosh. So it's really great.
They do realize, like,
count down. Roy, dude. I don't want to get in the nuts.
I know. Wait.
What?
I played a doctor.
What?
In Dr. Sexy, I played a doctor. I operated. So I played the role the trickster wanted me to play. Maybe we should have to go along with it.
Go along with what?
With the game. You were on a game show, right? So just answer the question.
In Japanese?
Yeah.
I don't know Japanese.
Try.
Damn it. Kote wa sodusu? Sekai! Dean Winchester! Natsukraga champion!
How did you do that?
I have no idea.
So he tells Dean to just kind of try to play the role, and Dean is able to like miraculously answer the question in Japanese, like when he hits the buzzer.
And the questions are really fun and interesting. Obviously, the boys don't understand what has been said.
They're kind of fucked up, honestly.
Oh my god, they're horrible. Like the first question is asked to Sam, and they ask him, "What's the name of the demon that you chose over your brother?" And he obviously can't understand. But then the one that they ask Dean is even worse.
It's horrible.
It's so bad.
It's the question they ask is, would your mother and father still be alive if your brother was never born? And the answer is yes. And like, it's not wrong though.
No, I mean, again, that's not really necessarily Sam's fault. And I think a very strong argument would be that Dean himself wouldn't be alive were Sam not born, because of the ways that their parents were manipulated into having both kids.
Yeah.
So were Sam not needed to complete the set, I don't know that he would have existed either.
That's true.
But it's a fucked up thing to say, especially because Dean says yes and he has no idea what question he answered and how.
Yeah. I love that that's like just for the audience. Like it's so fucked up and like mean, but in a way that's like good.
Yeah. Oh, it's just another one of those ways that season 5 rules extremely hard, and specifically just for the audience who had been watching the whole time.
Oh, absolutely. And this sort of like really interesting, like the really interesting, like kind of like nihilism that this season particularly has, but still like always with that like interesting like glimmer of hope to it, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that it is just sort of like, God, your lives suck, doesn't it? Like everything about your lives are awful. Everything is bad. And then like, you know, there's still some good things that come out of it. It's not like the happy ending exactly, but like it's, you know, it's just such an interesting season.
Yeah. Things are horrible. And you have to answer a fucked up question, but like we also have these beautiful shrimp chips that you could eat that are very tasty.
Yeah, exactly. After this, they go to commercial break, and it's very brief, but definitely a standout. It's a commercial that they're in, and it's a pharmaceutical ad.
I've got genital herpes.
I've got genital herpes.
Seriously?
Hey, you're the one who said play our roles, so...
Yeah, right. I've got genital herpes.
I tried to be responsible.
Did I try?
But now I take twice daily herpexia to reduce my chances of passing it on.
A beautifully made pharmaceutical ad for herpexia, which is, of course, is a genital herpes medicine. So they have to talk about having genital herpes. They have to play their roles, so they play their roles. But and you know, obviously that's played for laughs that they like have to say that and stuff. But honestly, the brilliance of this is just how spot on it is of those fucking commercials.
It's exactly correct.
Like the music, like the people doing yoga and like playing basketball, and the old people like dancing in their living room together, like, and it's all so like, you know, it's all so like nice and soft and peaceful, but like they're shilling fucking like pharmaceutical medication. Like it's so brilliantly done.
It's really, really well done. It's very, very funny. Actually, this is a good spot to ask you, what do you know about the Supernatural fandom and the non-Destiel ships that exist in it?
Really nothing. I never really engage that much. I tend to not engage with like ship culture in general, just because that's just not usually my vibe, honestly. But
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And even with Supernatural, I think I was always interested in like the sort of like analysis in terms of like television writing aspect of it, more so than like the kind of like fandom character interaction stuff, if that makes sense. So I honestly, I never I guess the short answer is I really didn't engage much with Supernatural as a fandom in general, to be honest.
Okay. Well, so let me tell you now, we totally haven't gotten to like the big reveal part, but I will say that for a very long time, one of the most popular Sam ships was Sam and the Trickster.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like part of the reason for why is the big reveal that we haven't gotten to yet. But the other thing was like the very specific way that a lot of their earlier interactions could be portrayed is like kind of pigtail pulling. Like the trickster just has a thing, and the way that he shows his affection is just gentle mocking and less gentle, and
Sure.
but like the way that they have Sam here with like the herpexia is just, I think, one of the more clear examples. Like, it's not doing anything wrong, and Sam is totally fine. He's just a little embarrassed, and I think that that's a pretty interesting character. Like, I've read a couple things. It's never my favorite because, again, it wasn't what I was going for. But I always thought it was interesting characterization because, like, again, he very specifically was Sam's ally for a lot of Mystery Spot. Like, all of that happened to teach Sam specifically a lesson. And then a lot of the things that happen with Sam in this episode is him just messing with Sam in lots of different ways.
That's so true. Yeah, he is kind of the one that gets more of the brunt of the weirdest stuff that happens. Like, he's the one who gets slapped by the doctor a bunch. He's the only one of the two that gets hit in the nuts. He's the one that gets turned into a car later. Like, yeah, that's interesting. Like, I mean, Dean gets shot in the back, I guess. But like, other than that, Sam has more of like the sort of like playfully mean things happening to him throughout it. Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting take. I totally get where that would come from.
Yeah, no, like, I got it. It was never my thing, but I guess, and the other thing would be that the trickster is so short and Sam is so tall. It's kind of funny.
God, that's great. I love the size difference stuff. That's great. Yeah, and as we all know, Supernatural is like famously good to like the gay couples of this show. So I think they could have totally nailed it if they put them together. Queer baiting. Who's ever heard of her?
Yeah. So I actually, when I talk about Supernatural, I always refer to it as the last great American queer bait.
Yeah.
Which turns out wasn't quite true. But when the finale happened, I said to several people, we'll never see anything like that, quite like that ever again.
Sure.
Love to be right. I would have loved to be right. Anyway, let's continue.
Oh boy, I don't even know what you're referring to right now. Like, just did that happen on another show? I'm sure it did. Why? It's always gonna happen.
Oh yeah, no. I think that I saw somebody recommend this to you on Twitter the other day. But there's this lovely little show called 911.
Sure.
Yeah, there's just a lot that happens.
Gotcha.
There's so much.
Yeah.
This is not the time or place, but hit me up if you want to talk about Buddy. Oh boy.
Cool. Oh boy. Oh wow. Yeah. Back to this show that has zero.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
Love the tangent. I do.
Yeah, well, no, it's just, but that is also such a conversation about this show. That's just like, that's another thing that kind of sucks about the show's legacy, is that it's just like, that's a thing that it's known for,
Yeah.
It sucks that that's like a black mark on it, but anyway.
Listen, I know we're going to continue on, and I'm sorry to keep going back to this, but obviously that is a black mark. But then the thing is that I think Destiel is so deeply important to the legacy of the show, because no matter like how it ended, and it sure did end in a way, I think that it's vitally important to the legacy of the show that Destiel happened, sort of like in the way that fans reacted to it and the way that the show was in conversation about it. The number one thing that Supernatural will be remembered for is the fact that it's the longest running Monster of the Week genre television show to ever exist.
Sure.
And the second thing is Destiel and the way that queer representation and fan interaction with queer ships changed over the lifetime of the show, and I think that that's really interesting and hugely important.
No, I agree. It is very interesting, and it is sort of like that's one one thing that happens when a show runs as long as this one did is that it's going to exist throughout different eras of television and different eras of like fandom and different eras of pop culture because of how things change over, a decade and a half anyway. And so sort of seeing how, like you were saying, sort of seeing how, creators and like shows themselves sort of interact and engage with fans, especially, as internet culture like sort of became bigger and bigger while the show was on, right? Like the ease of being able to interact with your fans grew exponentially as it was on. And so, I feel like there would be, if the show was on like 10 years earlier than it was, like the creators might have really just it's entirely possible there are creators that like never would have known that there even was a fan base that was like in for the Destiel ship, right? Like that is entirely possible to have been that out of touch, but it's impossible to be out of touch at that point, like, or not out of touch, because I think they're out of touch in certain ways, to not be aware of it, at a certain point in the show. And they had to grapple with it one way or another, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, didn't seem like they grappled with it in the best way, but they definitely had to somehow.
For sure. Like there's a lot of stuff that happened even in this episode that you're watching in the year 2022 is like, oh, that's not cute that they just said that.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely continues through the entire run because they have an idea that they're writing towards, and that isn't the kind of people who would think Sam making a menopause joke over Dean watching a doctor show is...
Oh God, I hate that joke so much.
Oh
but
my God.
But it's also like what their characters are, like they are these kind of like, that's the thing that always, it always sort of surprised me that this show did honestly like latch on people, the groups of people that it did and the way that it did, because so much of the early show was just like two fucking toxically masculine dudes being toxically masculine to each other constantly all the time. And like, it honestly amazes me that people were able to see past that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because like, I kind of forgot, like the Sam that lives rent free in my head is much more of like a sensitive person, and like even like towards later ends of the show, like that kind of gets flanderized into being more accurate stuff. But like he likes salads, he's more in touch with his emotions, he's a little like the smarter of the two, except Dean was always really smart, and it's just a different kind of intelligence. And Dean definitely, even here, is more in touch with his emotions and more willing to explore non-traditionally masculine things, which I think is really interesting with the way that people think about these characters now.
Yeah. No, I think that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam Winchester is a non-binary lesbian. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I'm here for it. I think that sounds rad, honestly. So yes, I'll headcanon that too. This next segment is some good shit, because the next segment is even more of the sitcom.
We now return to Supernatural.
Son of a bitch. How long do we have to keep doing this?
I don't know. Maybe forever? We might die in here.
How was that funny? Vultures?
Actually come back to back to Supernatural or whatever.
It's so funny because they just did a commercial and now they're back from commercial breaks.
There you go.
Really smart writing.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and it's right after, where it left off in the opening teaser, where they're in this 80s sitcom, but now they actually are like trying to kind of have a conversation about their predicament, but like they're still in front of the live studio audience. So the studio audience is like laughing every time they're talking about how they might die in here, and
Dean calls them vultures. It's great.
It's great. It's good stuff. Cass appears again. This time he's like bloodied and bruised up, and he is sort of like, okay, this is there's a lot happening. I think the trickster might be might be something else or there's something more powerful at play. But before he can actually elaborate on it, the trickster shows up to like grand applause from the studio audience, which I love.
As they should.
As they should. And he like flings Castiel across the set, banishes him away in static again, but not before like actually calling him Castiel, showing that like, oh, he knows this guy. Like, why would a trickster like know an angel randomly? That feels weird, right? He also explains that he is trying to drive home the lesson that they must play their roles, which they're like, yeah, you know, we're playing our roles in your little game, right? So we can get out. But he's like, no, actually, this is how I'm going to intertwine this into the season's ongoing story arc, because I want
he says literally exactly that, even.
I mean, in this episode, he totally could have.
You know what? I'm done with the monkey dance, okay? We get it.
Yeah? Get what, hotshot?
Playing our roles, right? That's your game?
That's half the game.
What's the other half?
Play your roles out there.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know. Sam starring as Lucifer. Dean starring as Michael. Your celebrity death match. Play your roles.
You want us to say yes to those sons of bitches?
Hells yeah. Let's light this candle.
We do that, the world will end.
Yeah? And whose fault is that? Look, it started. You started it. It can't be stopped. So let's get it over with.
Heaven or hell, which side you on?
I'm not on either side.
Yeah, right. You grab an ankle for Michael or Lucifer, which one is it?
You listen to me, you arrogant dick. I don't work for either of those SOBs.
That's the whole ongoing story of the season, right? Angels are trying to get Dean to say yes to being the vessel of Michael the Archangel. And Hell is trying to get Sam to say yes to let Lucifer be in his body. And so that the two of them can fight and start the apocalypse, like, because that's just how it's
Yes, because if you are listening to this without having watched the show, it's very important to the lore that angels can only occupy a vessel with the person whose body it is consent. Like demons can possess people. Angels have to ask and get permission.
Right.
And Lucifer is an angel. So he has to abide by the same rules. He's walking around with a different meat suit, but that's not like his perfect fit, and he needs Sam in order to have like the power for the apocalypse.
Exactly. Another thing that I think Supernatural did really well is that when it would have these fucking weird ass episodes or these big meta episodes, I think that they generally were really good about kind of elegantly intertwining it into the season's ongoing story. Like they never felt like they could have been standalones and would have been great, but they often aren't. And this one is like one of the biggest examples of that, because it is super wacky, but like it is very specifically to teach Sam and Dean a lesson, to theoretically move them along, on to this, in the story that has come up in like pretty much every single episode of the season at this point.
Yeah, there's a conveyor belt that he wants them to hop on.
Right. Exactly. And there's a good interaction between like Dean and the trickster where he's kind of being like, I know that there's something going on. So what side are you on exactly? And the trickster is like, I'm not allied with either of them. He has I really love the way that he calls Dean an arrogant dick. It's very good. When the trickster turns, because Dean basically kind of sets him off just generally talking about like Armageddon and shit. The trickster is just sort of like, I don't subscribe to any of those SOBs. Like I don't follow anybody. And he's like, gets really pissed off and is like, if you don't play your roles, if you don't agree to do that, you're just going to be trapped in a TV land forever. And that actor is really good about like turning like from playful into like actually like angry and kind of malevolent, like very quickly.
It's
like,
really good and really menacing, and he's not a tall man, and Sam and Dean's actors are both very, very tall, but you can like get the threat of him in that moment. Right. It's really, really well done.
It's very, very well done. Yeah. And like after that interaction, he shoots them off into another TV show, which, like we referenced before, this is basically their CSI. They are in a cop procedural at a crime scene.
Oh, come on. You gotta calm down. Calm down. I am wearing sunglasses at night. You know who does that? No talent douchebags. I hate this game. I hate that we're in a procedural cop show. And you want to know why? Because I hate procedural cop shows. It's like 300 of them on television. They're all the freaking same. It's, ooh, plane crashed here. Oh, shut up.
They're wearing sunglasses at night.
It's so much. And Dean has a very funny rant about how he hates cop procedurals because he's a man with good taste and he likes doctor shows and not cop shows.
Yeah, doctor shows that I'm sure are also procedurals in their own way too.
Oh no, it's all procedurals. It's procedurals all the way down.
Yeah.
But it's a very different flavor.
Yeah.
And he complains about it. And again, it's very specifically a Miami reference that's happening, like with the sunglasses and like they have like a quippy pun off where they just keep saying jokes in air quotes about the victim and the crime.
He has what appears to be a roll of quarters jammed down his throat.
Well, I say, jackpot.
Also, there is a stab wound to the lower abdomen there.
Well, I say, no guts, no glory.
Get that guy out. Tongues.
Gutter ball.
And this is such a CSI. If you've ever seen the show, you know immediately they like kill a guy. They just kill a guy in this scene surrounded by all of these other cops. But they show the death very specifically with like an into the chest shot of the heart that's being punctured, and that's such a CSI shot. It's like someone was saying just off screen, this is a CSI parody. This is a CSI. We're parodying CSI now.
It's incredible.
CSI Miami.
Yeah. That CGI zoom, it's like so of its time. Like it is such a 2009 thing, the way it looks. Like it's not like bad CGI like generally, but it's like that very TV 2009 CGI that they have. Just the whole look of this one, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I don't know if it's like sort of like the blue coloring, I guess, that they kind of have to it.
Yeah,
but
so like it's definitely a day for night look with the camera and the way Jared Padalecki, as they're like, he's like, follow my lead, and they walk into the crime scene, he's like shimmying his shoulders in this really stupid way. Just trying to be like, yeah, we're like here, we're the police and detectives. It's so stupid.
It's incredible. It's incredible. They're having so much fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kill the guy because they think they found the trickster, except it's not the trickster. The trickster was another guy, except they knew that they actually were tricking the trickster because they were behind him, and then Sam actually like impales the real trickster in the back, and they think that they've killed him. They think they popped back in the real world, and theoretically it should all be over, but we know like no, there's still like 10 minutes of episode left, so obviously it's not the end of this, right?
No.
So like they're in the real world, they think for like for a second.
No, this is such an incredibly well done like way that it's filmed, because they have the both of them in the warehouse, like it's like they've escaped to the real world, air quotes, post killing the trickster, and then they cut to commercial, and then they're back in the motel, and you just have Dean, I think he's like brushing his teeth or something, but he like calls out to Sam, who is presumably in the other room, because that all makes sense via TV logic, except he walks out there and Sam isn't there. And you would think if this was the real world, they would have gone there and like there'd be a bunch of stuff that we didn't get to see, but no, he's just operating on like the TV logic, the Inception logic of he jumped from place to place and didn't notice.
Yeah, it's really well done. Yeah, because then because it tees you up, because you don't expect them to be in another TV show, but they are. He only realizes it because he goes out to the Impala. He can't find Sam anywhere, and it turns out
Dean? Sam? Where are you?
I don't know. Oh, crap. I don't think we killed the trickster.
the reason he can't find Sam is because Sam is the Impala, because Sam is basically Kit from Knight Rider now. And they even have the Impala decked out with like the red like blinky lights and the control panel, and they literally play the actual Knight Rider theme that they guess they have the rights to.
I think they must have paid for it, and God bless them for doing so. Like that is really the chef kiss on this whole little segment.
Yeah, it's so incredible. Yeah, because they don't do a lot with it. You know, like there's no other characters in this. It really is just the joke of seeing the Impala being Knight Rider and hearing the theme song. And honestly, that's enough, because in all fairness to Knight Rider, does anyone even really remember like anything else from it? Like other than like
it's just David Hasselhoff in the car.
Right. Like nobody remembers any plots from that show or anything unless you're like a big diehard Knight Rider fan. So I think they nailed it. Like that's all
really
you needed.
did.
Yeah.
And the two of them come up with a plan because, again, Sam is baby. He's the Impala here. And they just talk it out. But we don't see the plan, obviously. I'm not actually entirely sure that they even talk about it because they do one of those cuts. Yeah. It would make more sense to me if they do that Inception thing again of just like they didn't discuss it because the trickster is watching and they just knew what they needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So because they show up, basically Dean gets some stuff out of the trunk, to which Sam says that feels really uncomfortable, which says very funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's
I don't know what it would be like to be a car, so I'm sure that would be uncomfortable to have someone digging around in your trunk, literally. But yeah, so basically Dean says that they're surrendering to the trickster. So the trickster shows up and he's like, yeah, we'll play our roles in the apocalypse. Just turn Sam back into a human. And so the trickster does, and they're about to leave. But in reality, this actually was a trick because Dean had...
So you're saying they tricked the trickster?
How they tricked the trickster. They tricked the trickster because Dean had apparently set up a circle of holy oil, and they set it on fire right when the trickster is standing in it. And actually, they were just trying to get him into the holy oil. Holy oil is something that earlier in the season or maybe last season, I don't remember when it was established, but at some point was established to be something that can trap and or like kill angels, essentially. And because in this TV show, they are in the Impala theoretically is going to have all of their normal equipment, right? So among their equipment is that holy oil. Though it is funny that they literally pull the solution to this episode out of Sam's ass. I think that's very funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like it's a funny joke and it really works with the way the episode's set up.
Exactly. So this kind of proves their theory that the trickster actually has been a rogue angel all along, the entire time. And
dun, dun,
the whole last section of this episode, it's basically like just one scene that's just a whole bunch of exposition. But it's interesting stuff if you're
important,
watching
and it really has consequences for how the rest of the episode goes. Rest of the episode, rest of the season, and to extend the rest of the show.
The short of it is that the trickster is actually the Archangel Gabriel. He dipped out on heaven because he just like hated how much his family were fighting all the time. So he kind of dipped out because of that. But now that all this apocalypse stuff is happening and they're continuing to fight, he just wants the apocalypse to happen so they will stop fighting. Like, who cares who wins? Who cares what happens? I just want my family to stop fucking fighting all the time, right?
And like, honestly, that's a middle child mood.
Yeah. Yes.
You want to see the end of the world?
I want it to be over. That's why there's no stopping this, because this isn't about a war. It's about two brothers that loved each other and betrayed each other. You think you'd be able to relate?
What are you talking about?
You sorry sons of bitches. Why do you think you two are the vessels? Think about it. Michael, the big brother, loyal to an absent father. And Lucifer, the little brother, rebellious of Daddy's plan. You were born to this, boys. It's your destiny. It was always you. As it is in heaven, so it must be on earth. One brother has to kill the other.
What the hell are you saying?
Why do you think I've always taken such an interest in you? Because from the moment Dad flipped on the lights around here, we knew it was all gonna end with you. Guys, I wish this were a TV show. Easy answers, endings wrapped up in a bow. But this is real. And it's gonna end bloody for all of us.
The other thing that's interesting is that in very I think it's great in an episode that is about television that he like pretty much spells out like the very like TV storytelling parallels, like just spells it out. Everything that was subtext is like text in this. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is the thing that I'm sure if you're like watching and analyzing the show, you probably picked up on this already, but he says on no in certain terms, the reason that this whole storyline is happening right now with Michael and Lucifer is because like Sam and Dean, the way that the show is played out, you are mirrors for Michael and Lucifer's stories. It's exactly what the story of the Winchesters has been throughout this entire show and like what their character archetypes are. That's why they were sort of born to be these vessels for the apocalypse, because they match the story happening in heaven and hell almost exactly
on purpose. And like, as we find out later, like I kind of already implied, like heaven got Mary and John Winchester together very specifically because they both had a very certain bloodline that would allow them to be Lucifer and Michael's vessels.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's such an impeccably like well-crafted storyline that they have, and the way that they sort of deal with like fate and destiny and stuff in a way that like I think works really, really well, because the whole show is sort of like, it is literally like they stack up everything. Like the entire universe has been setting you up for this. There's no way you can change it. And so and it's such a great like driving force to like be like, well, we're going to try to change it in spite of literally the entire universe setting us up for this one role, you know? Mm-hmm. They get Gabriel to bring back Castiel from wherever the hell he's been this whole time, whatever hell prison he's been stuck in.
I like to think, like, obviously he's been beaten up, but I like to think that it was in just the weirdest, maybe he was in Survivor or something, just like I want it to be a reality show where he has to deal, Big Brother, I don't know, where he has to deal with people being wild, because Cass is very bad at that, and it's funny every time.
Oh, that would be so funny. I would love to see that. That sounds really fun. They leave, but not without setting off the sprinklers to eventually free Gabriel. So he'll be able to, show back up again for multiple episodes for the rest of the show's run.
Does he come back? I don't remember him showing back up post Hammer of the Gods.
He shows back up again in season 8. And then he shows up, I think, sporadically in like later seasons as well.
Good for him.
Yeah. I don't know what the story is. I thought that he died at some point, but I guess if he did, he comes back, or maybe he didn't and I misremembered. I don't know.
No,
but either way,
he definitely died in Hammer of the Gods. Like that was like the whole point of the episode basically, was that in the very last thing that Dean says to Gabriel here is that it's not about heaven or hell or like this whole fight. It's about you not being brave enough to stand up to your family. And then he pulls the sprinkler and they all walk out and just leave him there. And then in Hammer of the Gods, he's like, you know what? You were right. I'm going to make my stand and confront Lucifer here. And I know that I'm going to die, but I'm going to give you vital information about how you could potentially stop the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's a great like resolution of that character arc. That's right. I forgot about all of that. God, I do want to watch like the first 5 seasons of the show again, because it's been so long, but it really is so good how it all plays out.
You can't do that, because if you rewatch it, I will, and you can't do that to me.
That's one thing that has put me off from a lot of later seasons too, is that like I do know later seasons like just characters just come back constantly. So like, Gabriel has this really great resolution to his storyline, and sure, he could come back, but like I feel like that's such a great ending for him, but then it just comes back like over and over again. And I know like other characters it's kind of like that too, like, oh yeah, they die, like I got season 2, we'll bring them back again, we'll bring them back to life. But
only if it's a guy. Don't worry about it, ladies, stay dead.
I don't know, their mom comes back for like a season or something. I think
listen, let's not talk about there's just so much about what they do with her character specifically that's so buck wild.
I don't know anything about other than that she does come back. I did not watch far enough for the season where she's back, or I don't know if she dies again or what happens to her, honestly.
Listen, we could talk about it off air sometime.
Okay.
But it's just, there are a lot of choices.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, their choices were made.
So much to talk about with Supernatural. Let's finish this episode because we're almost done. One thing, that's obviously that's it's almost expected for your episode that's about TV shows, right? Is that like Gabriel's sort of like, I wish this were a TV show, easy answers, endings all wrapped up in a bow, but this is real. It's going to end bloody for all of us.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. And I love the little bit of dramatic irony is just delicious.
And, and it's just, it's another part of this season's like really interesting kind of nihilistic vibe that it has throughout all of it. It's just like, no, literally, like, there's going to be no happy endings here. It's impossible. And the way the episode ends is like the brother is just being like,
all that stuff he was spouting in there, you think he was telling the truth? I think he believes it. So what do we do? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, right about now, I wish I was back on a TV show. Yeah, me too.
And like they both agree that it would be better if it was a TV show, and that's the last spoken audio of this episode.
Yeah, which is sad to think about, but also funny because they are literally in a TV show.
I know,
so,
it's really fun. It's very funny, and it's excellent writing.
Yeah, this is the show absolutely firing on all cylinders. It's so good, and it's that perfect blend of like the meta stuff and that's self-awareness, but also just like great comedy and also some really great just dramatic storytelling happening too in the way that it plays into the ongoing stuff that they have.
For sure.
Thank you so much for being on this marathon podcast episode with me. Again, I knew going into this, any Supernatural conversation is going to have a lot, and this episode already, like on its own, had a lot, and there's a lot to talk about. And I'm so happy to talk about it. Literally the first time I've talked about Supernatural with another human being, I think in like probably 10 years or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
it's been. I can't stop thinking about how truly over a decade ago we would sit in person and talk about this with each other. Like this very episode, though I don't remember those conversations.
Yeah.
And just time is a flat circle, and I love it.
Yeah. Merrilee, if anyone wants to find more Supernatural hot takes from you, is there anywhere that you would like to be found or anything that you would like to plug right now?
Well, I don't think we're going to talk about Supernatural, but you never know, because I actually finally have a thing to plug.
Ooh.
Yeah, Derek, would you like to hear about my new podcast?
Yes, I would absolutely love to hear about your new podcast.
Yeah, so then the episode should start dropping sometime probably mid-August, but definitely August. Nice. And it's called Overkill. And I'm doing a Criminal Minds podcast with my sister. Yeah, so we're kind of using a random number generator to randomly select episodes of Criminal Minds to talk about. And we split the episode in half, kind of. So one of us will talk about like what happens in the episode and kind of like character arcs and stuff, and the other person will talk about a true crime case that inspired that episode.
That's awesome. I know jack shit about Criminal Minds, but I'm still going to listen to that, and then you can teach me about what Criminal Minds is.
I have truly unfortunate taste. So I love Criminal Minds. I think it's one of the better procedural crime, like police propaganda shows.
Sure. I've heard that from other people too.
Yeah, I don't think that's a particularly high bar to step over, but I do really like it. I think that the team is really good. They tend, especially towards the beginning, to have more interesting cases, and like it's just a good time if you like to turn your brain off and watch a propaganda show.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough if you like propaganda and haven't seen it already. I know that's not like a hugely great sell, but I think that if you like that kind of show already, then you're going to like it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, that is absolutely up a lot of people's alleys.
No, and it for sure is. It's really popular for a reason. I don't think that we're going to be breaking new ground in the criminal minds department there. But I also do think that like a very serious like caveat to that is if you don't like that or don't want to watch propaganda, then you shouldn't. And in fact, you're a better person than me probably. Especially also because like it is kind of a true crime, and like a lot of people have a lot of very complicated feelings about like true crime as entertainment. And like if this isn't your thing, please don't listen to it, because we only have so little time on this precious earth. Please enjoy yourself. But I'm having a great time recording the episodes, so there's that.
I'm looking forward to those. That's so exciting. Yeah, definitely. I don't think by the time this podcast drops, this drops, I'm sure it won't be out yet, but we'll definitely plug it once it comes out on social media and stuff.
If you want to follow the Twitter that I have already set up, though there is no content on that already, hopefully by the time this comes out, I will have, done some things and maybe even have like a graphics logo, which I do not have. So you can follow us at Overkill Pod on Twitter.
Ooh, oh my God, you got such a good Twitter handle for that. That's perfect.
Thank you. I mean, unfortunately, all of the good names were taken. Like I thought a genius brainwave. I was, why don't we call the podcast like Wheels Up in 30, which is the thing they say in every episode. But somebody like 2 weeks before like we started the podcast started that podcast. And I was infuriated. Anyway, Overkill. I think it's really fun.
Oh my God. I love it. So excited. Yes, definitely check that out when those episodes start dropping. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Derek B. Gale, or on my other podcasts, Walloping Web Snappers, a Spider-Man podcast.
Which is great.
Thank you. You've been on it before. It was a great episode.
I have. It was a really fun episode for me. But I just think that there's a lot of merit in the show in general. If you like Spider-Man and or cartoon retrospectives, you should watch it, because Doug and Derek are really, really thoughtful and clever and funny, and also they talk about Spider-Man. It's a good time.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we do deep dives into every Spider-Man cartoon ever made on that podcast. And also check out my other podcast, Falling with Style, an ongoing Pixar movie marathon, which is a monthly podcast that dives into every Pixar film chronologically.
Which I'm also going to say is great, though. Derek, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I haven't actually listened to that one yet. It's on my list. I'll get to it.
If you want to follow this podcast, you can follow it at GimmicksPod on Twitter and Instagram for some extra goodies. You can also email me your questions, feedback, and corrections to gimmickspodcast@gmail.com. And if you could, please rate, review, and subscribe.
And you should definitely listen to the rest of Gimmicks. I just don't listen to the Supernatural ones because they're all very good.
Thank you.
No, I will just keep saying it. I am a fan of your work generally. Like you're also one of my very dear friends, and you have been for a very long time. But I'm not just gonna say things. I think that you're incredibly talented, and Gimmicks is one of my favorite podcasts, and would be even if I didn't guest star occasionally, which is so wild.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you. And if you want to help support the podcast, then give it a rating and review on any podcast platform that lets you do it, that you can use, everyone out there listening, because there's not a lot of ratings out there right now, and I would love to have more, so more people can find it and listen to it.
Yeah. And you should tell all of your friends, because truly that is the biggest way to let people know about the podcast you're enjoying. And again, I'm just going to say, I've listened to pretty much every Gimmicks episode, and especially the ones that I haven't actually seen the show for. And the conversations are worth it. You should just listen to them. It's super fun.
Thank you. That's all I got. So until next time, friends, keep being weird.
Bye-bye.
Son of a bitch.